Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today I have a super chatty get ready with me with all new makeup video. I don't know how long this will be, but I know I've been filming for about 45 minutes. I don't expect it to be that long, but it's gonna be a long one. I haven't filmed in a couple of weeks, so I just was feeling it today. I was feeling it. I got a ton of new makeup. I am testing the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It foundation. I'm not gonna make this like a full foundation review where I do multiple check-ins, but I will check in with you guys at the end of the day to let you know how all the products are wearing. I've got quite a bit of new Physicians Formula on. I also have some new products from NARS. So pretty much, yeah, full kind of playing with new makeup video. If you are curious how I got this look, which I really like it. I think it's a really nice, sultry, kind of daytime or nighttime smoky look. Then let's get started. Okay, so initially this video was gonna be all about the new Physicians Formula products that have launched. I picked up the foundation, I picked up the matte bronzer, I picked up a few other goodies from there, but then I realized I didn't have enough to complete look. So I also happened to get quite a bit of NARS NPR recently, and we're gonna play with this. It'll be kind of like a first impressions, but I am going to check in with you guys at the end of the day today and kind of summarize how all the products wore. So let's get started. Okay, so to kind of give you a heads up on my what I have on right now, I have my normal skincare and I have my Elta MD tinted sunscreen. So there is a little bit of makeup product, I guess you could say, on my skin. That tinted sunscreen gives a little bit of color, but not much coverage. Let's go ahead and zoom you guys in a little bit. I'm so excited to play with this, the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It foundation. Oh, and concealer. I didn't realize this was a foundation and concealer. Good to know, because I was gonna talk about this guy. This is the bareMinerals Liquid Mineral Concealer. I've been using this for a couple of weeks and I love it. But maybe I will skip that and I'll just try this as concealer. So I picked up two shades. I ordered it online. I wasn't quite sure which would be my shade. I picked up light Clair and then I picked up light to medium. I think I'm gonna do the light to medium. All right guys, let's zoom you in and let's get started. So let's get started with the application. I'm just gonna read you some of the claims and benefits that it says here on the actual bottle. It says ultra luxurious foundation and concealer, incredibly creamy texture melts into the skin, leaving a natural, radiant, glowing complexion. Long wearing, weightless formula provides buildable medium to full coverage. It does say to shake the bottle before each use. Okay, so I picked up two shades. I will go ahead and show you what light Clair looks like on me. I can definitely tell that this is going to be too light. It comes in a little bottle and a pump dispenser. Let's see if I can get it to, there we go, to focus there. So it does have a little pump dispenser any day now. Okay, here we go. Maybe, there we go. Okay, so this is light Clair on my hand, definitely lighter than my skin tone. And then I've got light to medium, which actually looks kind of dark. Okay. Oh no, it actually, when you pump it out, it looks much lighter than it does in the bottle. Yeah, that's a good match. So you've got light, medium, and light. The consistency is thicker, but it does feel like, I can tell right off the bat it's gonna be a radiant foundation because it feels very hydrating and creamy on the skin. Okay, so I'm gonna go and apply one pump. This is what the product looks like. You can see that it's starting to slide down my hand. So it's not a really heavy consistency, but it's definitely not watery. It's kind of right there in that medium moderate level. I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 106 brush to apply this, and I'm just gonna go straight from my hand to the product to the skin. My skin already looks really glowy and radiant from my skincare. Ooh, that's nice. It does have that butter bronzer scent, that Physicians Formula coconutty. It smells good. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of press it. It's blending out really easily into the skin. Like I don't even really know that I need to like buff it into the skin, just kind of pressing it and it blends in. Great coverage, really nice coverage right off the bat. I'm getting a good solid medium coverage. Now I am gonna kind of buff it just to make sure that I don't have too much anywhere. It is a radiant finish foundation, that's how it's described, and you guys know I don't like too much glow, so I find that when I have a radiant foundation, I tend to kind of overly blend it in just to absorb any excess and like limit any excessive glow. It feels really nice though on the skin, and it looks really nice when you first apply it. I also picked up the e.l.f., I have it right here, the CC cream, the Camo CC cream. I picked that up too, and that arrived last week, and I haven't even used it yet. So I'm not sure if I'll do a first impression video on that and then do like a foundation wear test, or if I'll just play with it before I film to kind of form a little opinion on it. I said I pumped a whole pump, but I actually didn't like pump it all the way down. I would say I pumped out, you know, 3/4 of a pump, and I will definitely not even use all of it. A little bit of this goes a long way, I'm finding. Okay, although I just remembered that I'm gonna use this as concealer, so maybe I will. Okay, so that is what it looks like applied to the face. I didn't apply any under the eyes yet. Very radiant and glowy. Okay, this is what I have left over on my hand, and I got pretty good coverage. I don't feel the need to add any more coverage to this. Let's go ahead and apply this under the eyes and see how it works for concealer. I'm just gonna use my finger to apply it in the corner and then kind of spread it, and then I will blend it out with a brush. My situation right now is a hot mess, you guys. It is a hot mess. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. As much as I try to keep this room clean and organized, it just cannot. Every time I sit down and do a video, it's like a tornado went off in here when I'm done. Okay, so I'm using the BK Beauty 108 brush, and I'm just kind of pressing it in. It blends out really easily, and actually it looks really good as concealer. I'm curious to see how it wears throughout the day though, because it is creamy and radiant. I'm curious to see if it moves or creases. All right, so that's foundation applied all over the face, including under the eye area. I'm impressed with the coverage that it gave. I think it looks great under the eyes as concealer. It's very creamy and emollient, so it felt very hydrating under the eye. I am gonna set everything with a powder, and for that, I'm gonna use, what am I gonna use? I'm gonna use the bareMinerals Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Powder. This is actually a powder that is created for setting under the eyes. So I'm gonna set under the eyes with this, and I'm also gonna kind of set in my T-zone, and I'm gonna use the same brush. And I'm just gonna press this under the eye. I don't wanna really move it back and forth because I don't wanna disrupt and move that concealer around. I just wanna set it. Then I'm gonna take it and lightly set the cheeks, around the mouth, and the forehead. So I'm gonna go in with bronzer, and I did pick up the new matte butter bronzer. So excited to try this. You guys know that the butter bronzer is one of my favorite bronzers. It's just such a nice, soft, creamy texture. It looks really natural in application. I think I use the shade Bronzer. I love the scent of this. I know it's one of those things where you either love like scented makeup or you hate it. I like the scent of this makeup. Oh, smells good. This actually smells different to me. Is this a different scent? It smells slightly different than the original. And I got the shade Matte Bronzer, I guess is the shade. So that is the one that I got. I know that it does come in a couple of different shades. I think that this is a good shade for me. It's not too dark and it's not too light. It's gonna give me some color. It's warm. I'm gonna pick up the BK Beauty 103 brush. This is our bronzer brush, and I'm going to apply this. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, that actually reminds me of a dupe to the product that I'm holding, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so you get a soft application, but really quickly you can build it. I'm also using a pretty fluffy bronzer brush. So this brush by design is going to apply your powder products in a kind of soft, sheer way, but it's dense enough to where if you wanna build, you can build and get more product payoff with it. Ooh, that's really nice. Okay, I'm gonna kind of dust it underneath my chin and then on my nose. Why not? Ooh, I like that bronzer. Holy moly. Okay, like this. Okay, so moving on to eyes, I'm gonna be digging into this PR package that I got from NARS. I came home yesterday and this was waiting for me at the door, and I'm so excited. They actually sent me 2 separate PR packages. They sent me their Shades of Desire, the Uninhibited collection, and then they also sent me the Total Euphoria. So the Total Euphoria looks like it's this collection here. It looks like it's a bunch of lipsticks and then a cheek and face palette. I think I'll create a separate video for that because there's a lot to go over in this that I don't really want this video to be an hour long. And then they sent me their Uninhibited collection, which came like this. There is several products here, and then underneath there's also some more. Let's open this up and see. Oh my gosh, I have to show you what this, my desk looks like right now. It's so embarrassing. Oh, this is the Euphoria collection. Okay, so the Uninhibited and then the Euphoria collection. It looks like there is Afterglow lip shines. It looks like there's 5 different shades. There's a face dew, a face palette. I am going to dig into this eyeshadow palette though. This is the Uninhibited eyeshadow palette. Let's open this up and see. Packaging is stunning. Look at that. How beautiful. It's like this raised NARS logo design on the front. It's so beautiful. I love their packaging because it's very sleek and professional, but they also find a way to make it special and unique. And then these are with the shades that you get. There are 9 shades in here. You get a couple of mattes. You definitely get your fair share of shimmers. It leans kind of warm, kind of rosy red tones to this. This is really beautiful. So we're going to dive into this. I'm gonna go ahead and prep my eyes. I'm gonna use the Trish McEvoy eyeshadow primer. Let's dig in here to my cute little Alley Glines bag. I love these bags. Did a little getaway last week for a few days and I packed my makeup and in those 2 bags. Okay, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna apply this on my eyes and I'm just gonna use my finger to blend it out. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start by building my crease and I'm gonna dip into this shade right here and we're going to work that back and forth into the crease. It looks light, but it actually goes on much deeper than it looks. I really like this color. This reminds me kind of like, what was the shade from MAC that I used to use? Like Wedge, but a little deeper than Wedge. I'm surprised. It looks so much lighter in the palette, but then it goes onto the skin a little deeper. Having that eyeshadow primer too is gonna help your shadow look a little bit more saturated when you go to apply it. That specific primer, because it is such a brightening primer, it's gonna make every shadow that you put on it a little more rich in color. So this goes on really nice. You get good color payoff. It blends out easily. It's not patchy, it's smooth and consistent. That's really, really nice. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take this shade just below it. It does have a little bit of a sheen and shimmer to it. It's kind of like a patina shade and I'm going to build that on top of that first shade that I put down just to make that crease a little bit deeper. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of take that over and blend it onto the lid because why not? Okay, that's nice. So it's definitely giving me more of like a taupey, cool tone. I know that I said originally this palette was warm, but so far what I've gotten from this is actually leaning more cool. There are definitely some warm shades in it, but you do have more cooler taupey neutrals. I have a little bit of fallout here. I'm just gonna brush that away. So next I'm gonna dip into this shade right here and we are gonna take the BK Beauty 203 brush and I'm going to load up my inner corner with this. Ooh, oh, that is gorgeous. The color and the formula of this is beautiful. It's very shimmery, but the way that it lays on the skin, I mean, it's definitely shimmery. It's not like a satin shimmer or sheen. It's definitely got some shimmer, but I expected it to be much chunkier and glittery than it is applying. It is applying like liquid on the eye, but has a lot of impact with color. That is so gorgeous. Okay, I'm really just trying to keep that right there in my inner corner of my eye. That is stunning. I love that color. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of it and pop it underneath the brow. Now, that's very shimmery. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit too much for the brow, honestly, but the palette doesn't really have a good brow color, so you might wanna dip into another palette for your brow highlight. That's beautiful. Really pretty. The reason I don't usually wear shimmer underneath the brow, I like a little bit of shimmer, but more of a satin. I don't like anything too shimmery under the brow just because I feel like it's a little bit too strong and I like that brow lift to look more natural, but I think that'll work for today. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and I'm trying to decide, what do I wanna do? Okay, I'm gonna take this really rich dark chocolate brown and I'm going to pop that on the outer corner and I'm actually gonna bring it over a little bit more on the lid. I'm gonna stick with the same brush. I'm using this brush really to apply this, but I'm gonna go back and blend it with a fluffier brush. And I'm gonna tap it off on my finger just to have any fallout not fall on my face because this is a dark shadow. Ooh, that's pretty brown. It's a really beautiful, rich, chocolatey, deep brown. And it's not very warm. It actually leans a lot cooler. So I'm just gonna go and you can see that I'm really just pressing, pressing, pressing. It's almost like I'm stamping my eyelid with this brush. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a second. I'm gonna go do the other eye and then we will come back and blend. Okay, so at this point, I've used this brush to apply the product. You can see that it's not blended at all. Before I go and blend, I just wanna make sure that my placement is where I want it and that they're pretty even, and I think that they are. Okay, next I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take my blending brush, and I'm not adding any product to this. I'm just using it as a tool to soften. Now I wanna soften the edges, but I do wanna keep that separation of light and dark, so I'm not gonna take this brush too far over. I basically just wanna softly diffuse where it stops and meets that lighter color. Okay, perfect. That is beautiful. Now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna kind of wipe this brush off. I wanna remove most of that dark color off of it. I'm just using a dry paper towel. I'm gonna go back into the first shade that we used, that lighter shade, and I wanna pull that back up because I wanna make sure that that dark color I used didn't completely cover that lightness. I like seeing that lightness diffused up top. It gives a very like sultry, smoky look, which is what I want. This look, I didn't really know where I was gonna go when I started this, but I love how it's evolved into being a little bit more like smokier than I anticipated. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and I'm going to add a little bit more of that brightness in the inner corner. I feel like I kind of lost some of it when I applied the deeper shade. But to mix things up, let's actually try this shade right here. This one looks a bit more, ooh, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, you guys. Looking in the palette, I thought these were going to be, well, this one's a little chunkier. I thought they were gonna be like chunkier glitter. This one's definitely, this one down here, it's like a pinky with gold flecks to it. That's a little chunkier, but these three right here are like so creamy. They're very shimmery and glittery, but creamy, not chunky at all. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and I'm going to apply that right here in the inner corner, just to brighten what we've done. That is beautiful. These formulas are so gorgeous. Super like luxe, you know? Lots of shimmer, lots of pigment, little fallout. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so next I wanna go in, let's play with some of the color that comes in this palette. I'm gonna take this shade right here and I'm going to smoke this out on my lower lash line, and I'm using the BK Beauty 204 brush. And we are gonna just pop that right here on the lower lash line, and I'm gonna kind of build it up so that you do see that color. I have a Zoom meeting here in about an hour with our manufacturer, and I'm gonna be all done up. Okay, so I'm just kind of smoking that out. I'm gonna go back and add the matte shade right above it, kind of same color story. I'm gonna go back and add that matte shade on top of it. I'm usually not a fan of like red shadows, like straight up red shadows, but I think they are beautiful with green eyes when you like pair them with something more neutral. So whether that means you use it like I am as a liner on your lower lash line, or you pop it on the lid and throw a more neutral color in the crease. When I worked at MAC, my old boss had a really great analogy. She said, you know, when you want to wear color, think of it like, you know, when you were wearing a colorful outfit, like you wouldn't walk in, well, I shouldn't say you wouldn't, do whatever makes you feel good. But she's like, you know, you could walk in with like a completely lime green outfit, right? Lime green hat, lime green top, lime green pants, lime green, you know, shoes and purse, and that might be a lot. But you could also wear neutral basics jeans, you know, neutral bottoms and a lime green accessory or a lime green top or something. And that'll kind of be a little bit more of a modern way to wear a lot of color. And I loved that. I never forgot that. That always stuck with me. So for eyeliner, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Color Chameleon eyeshadow crayon, and I have the shade Golden Quartz. This is what it looks like. It's just a really beautiful, dark, rich, kind of olive bronze shade. And I'm going to tightline my eye. I'm going to smudge this on my upper lash line as well. This is going to give a rich lash line, but nothing too like stark, like a black liquid liner would. It's gonna just basically enhance the lash line, but kind of blend in with the shadows that we have going on here. And you don't have to worry about getting it perfect. I'm gonna go with the brush and kind of smoke it out a little bit. It's nice for tight lining because it's so creamy and soft. I have a hard time watching people do this or like watching myself do it back when I'm editing. Okay, so I'm gonna pop that there. All right, and I'm just gonna grab my 204 brush. I am gonna wipe it off because I have some of that red shade that we used. and I'm going to kind of smoke this. Okay, I realized that I have not done my brows yet and it's kind of freaking me out. I'm gonna go do my brows real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so for lashes, I'm gonna curl my lashes, apply a little bit of the Dior Lash Primer, and then I'm gonna try a new mascara that I picked up from Physicians Formula. It's the Blowout Mascara, the Butter Blowout Mascara. Now, I will say for mascara, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't have a strong scent or fragrance to it because my eyes are always irritated by everything already that I don't want anything additional to irritate them. So I switched over from Revitalash to Grande Lash maybe about 3 weeks ago. I love Revitalash, but I don't know, maybe this is just me. You guys tell me, does this happen to you? I feel like I have to switch up my lash serums. I think that like after I use one for a couple of months, my lashes kind of get used to it and I need to change it up. I don't know if that's true, or maybe it's just my natural lashes are, you know, they go through this growth cycle and every like, I think it's 6 weeks or so, they kind of shed and new ones come in. And maybe it's when they're shedding that I'm realizing like, I need to switch up my lash serum. Okay, so this is the Physicians Formula Butter Blowout Mascara. Let's see what this says. Okay, so the before and afters look pretty impressive. You can tell that the person before though had pretty great lashes already. It says full blown volume and length. Okay, so it's a volume and lengthening mascara. Ultra luxurious full volume length mascara infused with keratin to deliver dramatic results. Incredibly creamy and buildable formula paired with a, is that right? I tore this and I can't even read this now. Okay, a round bristle brush captures and coats each lash from root to tip. All right, let's give this a try. This is what the brush looks like. So it definitely is pretty round and fat. Kind of looks like your traditional mascara wand and brush to me. It looks, I can tell right off the bat that it's gonna be a pretty volumizing mascara. Let's give this a try. So I like to start at the root and kind of wiggle, and I actually like to close my eyes in the beginning just to really like work the wand into my lashes. Okay, so not as volumizing with one coat as I expected it to be. Looks very nice and natural though. Like it gave length and volume, but naturally. It wasn't like one of those mascaras that you do one coat and you're like, wow. Let's try to build it. Okay, now we're getting some more volume and length, yet they still are pretty separated. It's not clumping my lashes at all. Okay, that's nice. Good volume, good length, but still kind of more on the natural side, I think. Not like really dramatic yet. I've tried mascaras, I feel like, that make them more dramatic off the bat than this one does. But I am building it and getting those results. It's just taking me a little more time. But what I do like is that even though I'm building and building and building, it's not clumping up at all. The lashes are staying pretty separated. My lash primer did dry a bit more than I normally like. I usually like to apply mascara pretty quickly after applying lash primer. So I can feel that my lashes are already a little stiff when I'm going to apply the mascara. Okay, this mascara is nice. I definitely like a little more drama and volume though for a mascara to really, really impress me. But if you're going for a more, like you want volume and length, but you don't want it to be like too much, I would say this is a good mascara for that. Like I like a lot of drama on my lashes. So I'm having to really, really build this up. Okay, I think that's about as much as I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go and apply a little bit on my lower lashes. But with that also said, I like that I can apply it on my lower lashes without it being too intense. Some mascaras just give too much right away and they're impossible to use on the lower lash for me because I end up making a big mess. Okay, that looks nice. I would definitely say, yeah, it gives volume and length, just not one super dramatic. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm looking at the foundation and it's starting to get a little shiny and I feel like my pores are large and in charge. Okay, let me go back and set the foundation with a little like actual setting powder. I'm gonna reach in, I have my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores setting powder. I did take this along with me last week and I'm gonna apply a tiny bit of this just all over so I want to give this foundation a true shot. I feel like maybe using that bareMinerals powder wasn't really, I feel like I need to use an actual setting powder if I'm going to judge this foundation. That's nice. Okay, better. So for cheeks, I'm gonna use the NARS Full Dimension 1 palette. This has beautiful kind of neutral everyday shades in it. You get a highlight shimmer shade, you get a matte like kind of rosy shade, then you get a shimmery pinky peach shade, then you get a matte bronzer there as well. I'm gonna dip into the matte blush shade because I feel like with this Radiant foundation, I wanna keep the cheeks pretty matte. I'm gonna pop this onto the cheek. This is a really nice color. It's a good kind of everyday color. I'll read you the shade names on the back of this palette. I actually don't see Orgasm in this palette. So you get High Risk, Danger Zone, Controversy, and then Indecent are these shade names. And I assume it's from left to right. So High Risk, Danger Zone, Controversy, and Indecent. This blush is really nice. It's just a soft rosy pink, kind of muted. I am building it up to get a little bit more color, but like first application, it's real nice and sheer, but then you can build it and get more color like I'm doing. I love a good matte blush. I love a good matte blush. Okay, moving right along to lips. I did pick up a new lip plumper from Physicians Formula. It's the Diamond Lip Plumper. It doesn't look to have any color, so I am going to see what NARS has over here for me, and then we will top it with a little bit of this. Okay, so let's see. They sent over 6 new lipstick shades. I'm actually gonna do a separate video of all the new NARS I got because it's a lot, but let's just pop these. Oh, okay. I feel like I've picked out the perfect one. This is the shade Unrestricted. It's the Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balm. Oh, okay. So these are matte tinted lip balms. Okay, very light and sheer. This is the shade Unrestricted, but I built it up to get that color. One swipe and you're gonna get about that. Those are really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna build this up on the lips and then we're gonna apply that lip plumper on top. Ooh, okay. So you do build it and get the color of a lipstick. It's just more sheer off the bat. This color is perfect. I love this. And for once we're seeing a glossy, or not a glossy, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, a lip balm lipstick hybrid that is not glossy, that's matte. That's very interesting. Okay. It feels very nice on the lips. It feels very, very lightweight. This color is perfect. Okay, then we're gonna go and top it with the Physicians Formula Diamond Lip Plumper. It smells like peppermint. I'm expecting it to be highly glossy. Yes, nice flexible wand. That's beautiful. It didn't really change the color at all. I thought it was gonna give more of an iridescent than it did. There's a slight iridescent tint to it, but it's pretty much translucent. So it doesn't change the color of the lip, but I feel like my lips definitely look plumper. Wow. Okay, so this is the finished look. I did promise you guys I would check in and let you know how the foundation and all the makeup is wearing. So I will do that. I'll keep the check-in pretty quick because I realize this video is already extremely long. It is currently 11:15 a.m. I will check in with you guys at the end of the day and we will see how everything is wearing. As far as the foundation now, let's see, let's open this before I start to speak. Let's see. It looks good. I think setting it with that IT Cosmetics loose powder was definitely needed. Having just set it with the Pat McGrath and letting it sit for about 20 or 30 minutes, it still looked way too radiant for me, but it looks really good right now. I will check in with you guys. I'm not gonna make this a full foundation review. I'm just gonna make this like a, hey, let's check in about 5 or 6 hours and see how all of this makeup is wearing. So I will see you guys in just a bit. Hey friends, it is 7:30 and I wanted to do a kind of follow up on the makeup and how everything wore today. So I haven't touched up at all today. I'm actually going to touch up with a little bit of powder now, but I did want to show you guys how the foundation wore after, 8 hours with 0 touch-ups. I'm actually pretty impressed. Yes, there are areas that definitely are moving and I have some settling around my nose and obviously I'm pretty shiny and dewy at this point, but I would say up until about an hour ago, it actually looked really good. I did go get my hair done. I don't know if you can tell, but it's lighter. So I had a mask on for about 2 hours at the salon, getting, my hair done, washed, blow dried. And I expected to take it off and have kind of a worse situation than what's going on right now. But aside from it gathering and kind of collecting around my nose and getting a little shiny, I think for a radiant foundation, it looks fantastic for 8 hours with no touch-ups. The blush looks great. I haven't touched up the blush and you can still see that it looks great. I mean, you can still see all the color. And again, I did have a mask on for 2 hours. Obviously, the lip product wore off very quickly. It is not, you know, but I used a lip balm and then a gloss, so nothing that claimed to wear, you know, long wearing. The eye makeup is still on and looks really, really good and really nice. This is getting a little patchy out here in the outer corner, but I think everything looks really good. I've been impressed with pretty much how everything has worn. I am going to go ahead and touch up the foundation really quickly with the powder just to see how it looks after a touch up, and then I'll pop back on and show you guys. Okay, so I just added a little bit of the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores powder, the same powder that I used earlier today, and it looks great. You still see some radiance, but it definitely cut down the shine. I also want to say, you guys, using the foundation as concealer, I'm so impressed. It still looks great. I didn't have any creasing. I haven't really had any fading using as the foundation as a concealer, and it looks really natural. I mean, I'm really impressed. When I see foundations that claim to be both a foundation and concealer, I have to say I am a little skeptical about that claim, but this worked really nicely. So overall, I think the foundation is great. I think especially if you have drier skin, it would be a great option. If you have really oily skin, it might perhaps be too radiant or dewy for you, but I definitely think it's worth a shot because it is definitely one of the more long-wearing radiant foundations based on my wear test of it today. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I'll have all the products that I used in any shade names listed and linked in the description box, so be sure and check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Putty primer. This video is all over the place.